Hi guys, this is Emnel and we are back playing Hearts of Iron 4. As you can see by this lovely background, we are going to play Together to Victory DLC as well as enjoy 1.3 patch that came with it. Paradox was kind enough to grant me an early access, so I will be able to show you how things work 3 days before the release. You've already seen the name of the video, so you know that we are going to take Canada for a spin first. I've fiddled with most of the nations by now, spent about 20 hours testing various things and a few more running AI campaigns, so I have a decent understanding on how things work and what can you expect from different nations. So I will try to explain that while, showcasing a playthrough as Canada. As you can see, there is, for starters, there is a new kind of menu here that features nations that have special focus trees, those by this DLC and the first one of Poland. And there is a new kind of window right here that showcases some of most important decisions you can take as a nation. We'll get into that a bit later once we load the game. And if you wanted to, I kind of hinted that first playthrough will be as South Africa, but I decided to go with Canada, but do not fret, because I will be playing at least one more playthrough within a week, possibly even before the release of the DLC, so it will be probably a British Raj or South Africa. So there is that. We're of course going to play on Veteran, in main mode, Iron Man mode, and we are going to bump our enemies. So Germany, Italy and Japan are going to go to the max with the sliders to get all the bonuses. We're not going to touch United Kingdom or USA, but I will give 2 ticks to Soviets, France, because people pointed out that I was dismissive of them in my previous playthrough with max sliders, so we'll just give them. From what I've seen in from my tests, it basically makes them lose within a month rather than within a week. Same goes for Soviets. If you leave them like that, they will just collapse within 2 weeks, 2 months or so. And this way they still lose pretty badly, but it's lasts a year or so. Similar to China, they just they won't be unhistorically overwhelmed. We'll leave United Kingdom and USA as they are. And of course that's all because we are going to play historically as a democratic Canada, faithful, although seeking independence member of a Commonwealth. Good to go. Right. Iron Man, Canada. So, well, really. YouTube. Actually, go local. And here we go. Let's start by taking a look at our policies as well as national spirits. So there are 2 detrimental ones that we start with. Great Depression, which not only butchers our factory production, but eats 25% of our factories, which added to 30% from civilian economy, means that 10 out of our 13 civilian factories are going to be used to produce consumer goods for the first few years of the game, which is an interesting place to start. Another one is a conscription crisis among French Canadians, which lowers our recruitable population by 30%. We are also locked out of conscription for a while. As you can see, we need to complete a focus commit to war, and another one here to be able to get that. I believe this one can be done once the even before the war. This one is a few months into a war if we are really desperate to get it. But as you can see, it won't. Our situation won't allow us to get too much of a standing army before the game starts. So this actually pretty well represents the situation Canada was in at the time. The Great Depression was still in a full swing. Well, Mackenzie King just came into power in 36, I believe, or 35, but previous years of the Depression were under a conservative government that, while it tried to implement something similar to a New Deal, being conservatives and, fiscal conservatives, they half-assed it, and it wasn't working, basically. And that handed victory to liberals and progressives, and Mackenzie King again after losing the previous election. So if we look at the focus tree, we'll discuss that a bit later, but basically we will be able to remove one of those things. We'll need to decide basically if you want to have a semi-working economy or people to send to the front lines. So we won't be able to fix both of those issues, which will be a problem. As I mentioned, we start with civilian economy, and going to partial mobilization will be one of our main goals. Export focus will have to stay for now. Let's, as far as technologies go, we start with 3 slots, which isn't bad for a miner, but getting 4th and then 5th will take us a few years each, so there's that. Now, we start with some basic infantry training, engineers and recon, but no trucks, as you have seen earlier. We have 34 light tanks, which is okay. We have access to artillery, and we start with Grand Battle Plan Doctrine, which I'm not, you probably noticed if you watched my previous versions that I'm not a big fan of this one. And I'm definitely not a big fan of this, right, especially for this playthrough and for the plan I have. We have access to destroyers and cruisers, basically, and basic transport ships. Naval Doctrine, we have a fleet in being, we were so inclined, some basic planes, including naval bombers. Air Doctrine has not been chosen for us just yet, and nothing in engineering. You've probably noticed there's a little 10% here, 10% there, or even more in things such as Navy or airplanes. What that is a new mechanic of coalition research. We are part of Commonwealth research, which means that every technology that involves us, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, British Raj, and United Kingdom, that is for some reason not mentioned here, but it definitely is part of it. It usually shows up. That's probably because they have all the technology. There is zero opportunities for them. Point being that, as I mentioned, as you can see there, it's 10% for every nation that has it. In this case, 4 nations researched Hector close air support bombers, which gives us a 50% bonus. Max is 50, and it stacks with any other research boost. So, for example, if we had 50% research boost for close air support, that would be a 90% research boost out of it. That, as you can imagine, changes the way you research stuff quite heavily, actually, because normally what we would do is, as nations such as ours, you would take construction, production, basic machine tools, and electronic mechanical engineering. And well, start by researching that. The thing is that all the nations that we are with will be researching just that. So if we were to wait for them to do that, we will get a free 50% bonus to all of that. And we are going to try to exploit that a little bit. Just the thing is that at the start of the game, only Commonwealth has such a thing. Other nations will be able to form those coalition researches, but that requires them to actually use continuous focuses or to get access to such things by choosing various options on the focus tree. We also will have, if we were, for example, to go to well, there are options to basically switch from Commonwealth to other kind of research group. For example, a Cominter one or an Axis one, or in case of Canada, we could form a union with a faction with United States, and so on and so forth. But okay, we'll get into nitty-gritty details as we go. For now, let's decide on what we want to do. Starting by research, I will showcase the whole Commonwealth research bonuses, and for that reason I'm not going to pick either of those. We are going to actually start with researching both Marines and Mountain Infantry. Bear with me, because if you are new to the channel, you are probably tempted to turn it off and think I'm crazy and incompetent, but bear with me. There is a reason to this madness. Basically, we need to, as a miner, we need to decide how we are going to specialize ourselves. Canada Focus Tree gives us some nice options, because it has a handful of those kinds of research bonuses, which allow us to remove the ahead of time penalty for things such as destroyers, such as motorized. So, for example, we could use it to get ourselves an access to mechanized troops by removing the ahead of time penalty, using that thing, and basically research that in 37, for example. Same goes for 1940 destroyers, using the first one I showed. We basically research this one, then take the focus, and then use the removal of ahead of time penalty to research this 1940 in 37, if we were so inclined. Similar one is, and the one that I'm most interested in out of all of those options, is the Valentin tank right here. That not only has the 100% ahead of time penalty removal, but also comes with armor technology research bonus, and that works as you would expect it to work. Basically, you would get, assuming you've researched the Matilda LP first, you would get Valentine researched in 37, or well, start researching in late 36. And get it in just under 100 days with all the bonuses, which is fairly powerful. And it is a viable option to just beeline for that in our focus tree, and we'll do that at some point, but it is 5, as you can see, 5 focuses deep. 5. And on top of having most of our civilian factories hidden, trapped behind our shitty consumer good requirements, Great Depression and civilian economy, we have shit for resources right now. we'll get more. And well, since we do not have access to civilian factories, we cannot really buy anything. Also, we cannot build military factories as you would normally because upon building, if we were to build 4 civilian factories, we would have no spare civilian ones, which forces us to go for civilian. We're going to remove that tank for the time being, and as far as production goes, we're going to start building a little bit of towed artillery and support equipment. That's what we will use our 5 factories. For now, I will not really build infantry equipment because we are going to be training our troops. As you can see, they are awfully under-equipped, but that's not a major issue, because we get the same amount of experience from exercising them, even if they have like 1 rifle per 5 people, or if they have if each of them has a rifle. But if if it looks like this, we are losing much less equipment to attrition. For that reason, as well, we are going to lower the reinforcements and upgrades, and are going to train a single, well, let's train 2 divisions and give them highest priority, which means that all those rifles that we produce will go to the new division and won't be wasted for training. The reason I'm going to train here is I want to go with, as you've seen right here, I will go for a special forces approach. We are going to make a limited amount, but of very powerful divisions. It's a mix that I used in my German playthrough, which consists of 50-50 split of mountain and marine brigades in a division, which basically makes an more powerful infantry division with minor but all around terrain bonuses. And we are going to use something like that, coupled with quite a lot of powerful artillery. One of the reasons I'm going with it is our choice of military high command personnel. As you can see here, we have a absolutely amazing guy here with plus 15 to both attack and defense of special forces, and even more amazing, plus 15% attack and, well, less impressive 10% defense for artillery. Such divisions coupled with those bonuses will be absolutely amazing, and will be able to handle at least several Axis divisions, even German ones, not to mention poor Italians. We also have a very nice guy for armor divisions, which will help us later once we go for that Valentine tank and extend our use of our forces to use armor. But for the reasons I described here, which is utter lack of resources and no ability to get some, we'll have to postpone that for the time being. As the last one, I'm afraid we'll go to right, so as I mentioned, we are going to use powerful infantry divisions with a lot of artillery, and for that reason I'm very tempted to go for superior firepower. I mean, Grand Battle Plan Doctrine isn't terrible because all the additional entrenchments, well, actually would be good for holding points, defending and such, and the 20 we get quite a lot of breakthrough here, like plus 20 for our infantry, which is okay with helping us not to lose precious manpower. But all in all, I think I will just switch to superior firepower. Problem here is that all of our Commonwealth friends will go for Grand Battle Plan, which would make this whole thing a bit cheaper. No, what I will think about it, because I really despise Grand Battle Plan, and I like all of them better. But maybe we are trying to reach too far. So as a fourth thing, I want to go for construction. The thing is with the construction that just having 3 working civilian factories at the moment, it's hardly it hardly makes a difference. We could just grab a tank here. Well, let's get maintenance company. We'll be using those anyway. So and for useful stuff, we will wait for the bonuses to apply, because as you've seen here, we aren't really producing anything. Like those first few months are pretty useless as it is, due to all the negative bonuses that we have. And finally, before we unpause, we need to decide on which focus to choose. As I mentioned, politically we are going to stick with the Commonwealth, which means we'll choose to strengthen the Commonwealth ties rather than choose patriation. So those will be not available to us, but let's look at them. So here basically we can either go with Comintern, or we can try to create a faction of our own. It's pretty basic stuff actually. The both Comintern and Axis trees are very bare bones for Canada. Much differently for other nations such as Australia and South Africa. We'll probably give those a try. Here, what is interesting, we could create a faction with Mexico and try to encircle United States and strike at them from both sides. So this is an interesting way to go about it. If we were to go with fascist Canada, or we can simply join Germany. There's this famous defense scheme number 1, which was a plan from between the wars on how to defend and counterattack against United States. But it actually depended on the United Kingdom support, so I'm not sure how that would work here. So that leaves us with 4 options, because those 2, as you can see, are grayed out. This one requires 20% world tension, which means that we will only be able to take it after Japan goes to war with China, which means it will be in 18 months, or in other words, this is going to be our focus number 10. We'll be able to take 9 other focuses before we can take that. And we want to take that ASAP, because that gives us access to this part of the focus tree that helps us to fix our economy. As you can see here, this one partially at least fixes the Great Depression, lowering consumer good requirements and increasing factory output by 10% from -30 to -20, which is, well, nothing to write home about, but in our dire situation it's a good stuff. Here we have access to quite a lot of civilian factories, or we can wait till we go to war, can take war bonds and can take commit to war thing and go for the this part of tree that will fix our manpower problems. This one, as you can see here, National Steel Car, mutually exclusive, leads to war-fueled economy that completely removes Great Depression. This is the only way to remove it. I've scoured the game files and there isn't a way to, it won't fade away in like 1940 or something, nothing like that. So you can either fix your remove your your Great Depression, or remove your conscription crisis using those things here. This one is interesting as well. Normally, the things that give you political advisors or design companies are, well, not the biggest priority. But this one is interesting because this is basically a captain of industry, increasing civilian construction speed. That costs only 50 50 political power, which sounds good as well. It leads to some civilian factories and such. Oops. Now, let's take, but for the reasons I will describe later, we are going to go with, before we continue. So, if we were to want to beeline to Valentine tank, we would just start with army modernization, but as I mentioned, no resources for that. Here, we can increase our technology sharing bonus, which would boost that 10% we get from the research of other nations by 3 to 13, which is decent. And later, we can, well, outright after that, we can improve it by another 5% to 18, which is, well, just amazing, really. And this is some, those are some military factories, which this is a strong start, but because we will really need quite a lot of political power, we are going to start with this one, and as soon as this finishes, we are going to take silent workers, which will increase our political power gain from 0.5 to 0.8 by 0.3, which is a good choice in veteran difficulty, basically. And next choice that we'll have, we should be able to, by the time we get another 150, we should be able to get partial mobilization because Spanish Civil War should end by then, or if not, we will simply take a military tourist, because as I mentioned, we do need a lot of army experience to get those really nice troops we want to get. So it's time to unpause. We have, as you can see, insufficient resources, but well, we can't really afford them, so let's just build stuff. And well, we'll mostly go by speed 5 here. Let's take a look at our commanders. We'll start with 4 pretty decent ones. Only one has any traits though, which, well, it's a bit of a shame, but overall we have 4, and even one of them is Field Marshal, which is actually pretty rare when it comes to minor nations. Let's get this guy, all of those. And the army we started with, in case you are interested, we have 24 naval bombers. We have a single destroyer. Oh, actually, we have 2 destroyers. Oh, look at that. I thought that Canada joined with only 1 destroyer during the war. Oh, and of course, since we are focusing on elite land forces, we are not really going to invest in navy. And perhaps in 40s we will go for some air force. Alright, so Rhineland got remilitarized. We got access to we got some additional political power, and as I mentioned, we are going to use that to hire a political silent workforce for political power gain. Our second choice, so we could go for that and to get that civilian factory production, but once again, free factories and 50 political power that we can spend elsewhere, basically getting partial mobilization. And so basically there are 3 more things that we want ASAP. We want the partial mobilization, we want the military tourist, and we want that captain of industry. And sadly, this one is the least important. And the way cookie crumbles, or the way math works, is that getting that additional civilian factory, which, well, sounds interesting, we get what, 33% increase, but sadly that's not the case, because that bumps us to 19, and 55% out of 19 in paradox math is 11, which means that we would still have 3 usable factories and 1. Simply this will jump from 10 to 11. And I know I tested it. I haven't done the math, so don't try to rush this to get civilian factories, because you won't. You can get it later once you build your first. For that reason, we are going to strengthen the Commonwealth ties first. Let's go. As I mentioned, we will be able to get 9 focuses before we get down this rabbit hole. So options, this one is of course an option, but okay, so Spanish Civil War. In this patch, Spanish Civil War is fairly early. Like, this one is actually one of the later that I've seen. I actually seen it fire like in January and February several times, which is a bit weird, but once it finishes, it will bump the world tension to 18 or so. And sadly, the world tension won't go up to 5. I don't think so. So we won't be able to get shadow factories. But the interesting thing, the reason I mention it is because, once again, the consumer goods math. You don't want to take shadow factories too early, because adding 3 military factories would land you with either 1 or 0 available civilian factories, which is problematic, and well, you do not have resources to use those factories anyway, so yeah. Another new thing here is the combat law, which also includes things such as equipment loss by attrition, in our case by training. I've tested it, and well, basically you are better off training with under-equipped forces. What were we researching again? All right, maintenance. So the problem with that is with this bonus, like all the other bonuses. If I were to now get well, if I were to get a design company, because now there are new design companies actually. That's support unit research time, which would lower the research time required for maintenance units, right, by 10%, and that would immediately affect my my research time. That would go down by 10%, right? But if you start researching something, if I were to start researching this one right now, and within a week 3 other nations would finish that, I wouldn't get the bonuses from it. I would not get any. So yeah. But you need to. I will showcase that later. But basically, it only applies the moment you pick the research, unlike any other bonuses in the game. All right, we are going to go for faster research. It will be useful. Basically, it will end around the times we finish with our research of those basic things. We are not going to rush for Valentine. I consider that, but it's just that doesn't add up. And we're probably better off getting that civilian factory at some point, and we will need to. Basically, we will need to get crown corporations anyway, even if we were not so into this bonus just yet with 3 factories. We'll need to get that to feather, to get it ready for the time we are at war. So this is one of the our 9 choices, definitely. And later this one, which is kind of shitty with getting to infrastructure, is necessary to get to Warfield economy, so we'll need to go for that. Right. Oh, and here, this is the one way. So we can either go for, like, you spend 5 things to get to Valentine tank, which is army modernization, CMP track, a motorized army, then a Red Deer training camp, and finally Valentine tank. Or we can dive right here, which this one allows us to get 3 excavations much cheaper, which is a good way to go about it. But, well, as you notice, we aren't starting with much of many resources, are we? But Canada, on top of having probably the most factory-heavy focus tree, has the most resource-heavy focus tree. And we'll get things such as plus 36 oil in Alberta, plus what is it? Plus 22 of aluminium. We'll get some, well, lower amounts, but some steel and chromium. Once again, we get synthetic factories, synthetic refineries, which boil down to, you know, rubber and oil. We get, once again, oil, and so on and so forth. There are several things like that. So, but for the time being, I think we are going to go for crown corporations. In case the Spanish Civil War drags on and we won't be able to switch to the partial mobilization before things continue. Alright, since we are at the end of the episode, we are not going to pick another research because, well, for the reasons I described, we want to... well, actually, this we can pick. See? I'm not crazy. Now everything is cheaper by 50% and we haven't spent a dime on it. Sure, we will be a bit... it will take us a bit longer, but, well, we just got a research bonus of 50% instead of 2%, so I think I'm okay with that. And, well, we weren't producing much to begin with, and our construction is terrible as it is. Now, we'll continue our little Canadian campaign in the next episode, and, well, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you then.